This is not just another golf podcast. This is Golf Underground. This is Golf Underground. We just happen to be the third funniest podcast in golf. Anyway, we interview PGA Tour pros, Hall of Fame athletes, rock stars, business leaders. Sure, we talk about golf, but we have fun. All right, let's do it. Welcome to Golf Underground. Now your hosts, Wardo, Sully, and MLB Hall of Famer George Brett.
Thanks for joining the Golf Underground. Now the Golf Underground is brought to you by Star Companies, KC. Experience a more energy efficient and comfortable home with Star's insulation services. Regain Functional Medicine. Feel better, function better, move better, and look better. Regal Distributing, specializing in the distribution of food service and professional cleaning supplies to a variety of industries. Cowell Insurance, providing brokerage and risk management services for over 25 years. Sono Orthopedics, care plans backed by research and clinical results tailored perfectly to individual needs. Bob Sight Ford and Bob Sight Independence Kia, where you'll score a double eagle on your next car or truck. Sheridan's Unforked, eating good and feeling good. Lewisburg Ford, nobody sells more F-150s than Lewisburg Ford. And Celebrity Greens, put a custom PGA caliber putting green in your backyard for the ultimate golf experience. Now, onto the program. Hey, welcome to Golf Underground. Here we are. It's a couple weeks coming to see the Ryder Cup, Wardo. Actually, it's a big week. It's a big week because we've got the Kansas City Chiefs starting Thursday night.
Let's go.
So we're excited, and our hopes is to get our friend Neil Smith, the wingman of the late great Derek Thomas, to join us maybe before the program. But today we're going to talk specifically about the Ryder Cup. To me, there's nothing like it, right?
Yeah, I think it's time to see what the U.S. can do. Again, both teams looked pretty darn stacked in terms of the players. Obviously, Captain Johnson just revealed his here in the last week or so with his squad. And then Luke Donald, he's got his squad. And what a better place to have it than Italy.
Yeah, right. I mean, who'd have thought Rome? But listen, we went through the list for the past year and a half. We've been talking about the LIV versus the PGA. What was your take on old Brooksy? It seems like maybe people are starting to forget about the old rift between the PGA and the LIV. But
I think this is just me, that people are a little more over the whole riff after the PGA let down their guard and kind of is saying that for the betterment of the golf and for growing the game globally, this is the direction they're going to go. So in my opinion, that's kind of why you're probably hearing a little less about Brooks making the squad. Clearly well-deserved. I still think he's one of the top 10 players in the world. But what an incredible storyline with Ricky Fowler, to be honest. I mean, you saw how much he's struggled here in the past 3 to 4 years, and I had an up-close seat to that. I watched him play some holes, and we played in the same tournament at the Floridian this winter, in which he played extremely well. I think he carded scores of 62, 63, 64. So,
damn.
I knew he was back. I didn't know that he would be on the Ryder Cup team, but pretty impressive.
I mean, listen, think of our chats with old Joey Scavron, right? Who came in and did a nice Christmas event at Indian Hills, and in private, he said he's struggling, and I'm not sure. Maybe it's the distance off the tee, but I didn't sense a ton of confidence in Joe. Certainly, you always believed in Ricky, but there was a breakup there, right? And he moves on, and it's weird timing that he gets a new caddy, new focus, and what role do you think that played in getting a new caddy? Because he's a new man.
I'm sure that may have fueled his fire a little bit, the breakup with Joe, but longtime caddy. But I think at the end of the day, he was, kind of caught in between swings, and also kind of, life had changed and marriage, kid. So things were a little different at home. But I tell you what, for anybody that doesn't say these guys are working their tails off is crazy, because they all want it. They all want to be good. And the talent pool's gotten so deep that they all have to work hard and stay on top of their games and grind in order to really stay competitive and stay relevant, because the next guy's just ready to knock on the door.
That's true. All right, so let's look at the team. Of course, you got we won't go through all of them, but you got Scotty, obviously number one, Wyndham Clark, and you just got a lot of great names here. And those captains picks: Brooks, JT, Spieth, like the two brothers. Of course, Ricky Morikawa, he's amazing. Burns is great. But it's funny. I'm like, we're favored, obviously, in the United States to win again. And the odds have come down just a little bit. But, man, you look at their team, it's pretty damn good, right? I know Rory, he's sort of the top dog there and sort of represents European golf. Of course, pisses off a lot of the LIV fans. But Victor Hovland is playing better than anyone on the planet.
Oh, it's crazy.
John Rahm, I mean, who's better than John, right? He's certainly top three. But you get on this list: Fleetwood, old school guy; Justin Rose knows how to beat people; Shane Lowry, right? Certainly won the Open. So they got a kick-ass team also, and I mean, it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, I think the coolest storylines are obviously on the American side, the Ricky, and then I just think it's going to be fun to watch Max Homa. I think it's going to be incredibly fun to watch Wyndham after coming off that win at the U.S. Open. And then you got a guy like Brian Harman that really wasn't on the radar too much. I mean, obviously he's playing well. That guy, he's not the longest driver of the golf ball, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be pretty darn scrappy when it comes to match play. My one question mark, and not because he's not capable and he might go win every match at the Ryder Cup, is Justin Thomas. I just didn't think he was in a position to that wasn't even a question. And so I get it. There's some politics or maybe some lobbying on the inside. But, a guy like Keegan Bradley put an incredible post out there the other day about how, it wasn't his year, and all that, and how much he's going to get behind this Ryder Cup team, the Americans. So I think, that's my one question mark with that squad, to be honest. I think you're going to see some incredible golf out of Sepp Straka. The dude's just a beast, and he's been playing great. So he's been knocking on the door a lot and playing some good golf.
How do you leave off Cameron Young, JT over Cameron Young? Right now, I do think there is a little LIV hangover in something like that. Right, I think there's a little bit of Brooks was just too damn good to leave off. He represents, I think, sort of that kick-ass attitude, intimidation. It's what you want, that cocky brand around you. But, Cam Young is a bubble. He's not on. How can he not be playing? Right. It's just, to me, that just seems kind of weird.
And what's crazy about Cam is, back up 3 years ago, sure, he was, making his way up through the Korn Ferry. I think he won here in 2019. But you think you fast forward, that guy's played pretty incredible golf for the last, 3 to 4 years. And so like his trajectory is just, I think he's top 15 in the world. So
yeah.
It's like,
yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I suppose you don't have enough spots, but back on the JT thing, cause it is interesting. No doubt as they're thinking of pairings, they're thinking of, putting the brothers together, right? Spieth and JT. And while, maybe by himself he has not played well, he's imagining, my guess is that Spieth's going to motivate him. And there's definitely good guys. It does give you an advantage, right? If people like you on tour, you're sort of part of that in crew. Maybe that had something to do with it. Certainly Cam isn't that guy.
And maybe they're just trying to keep up with the tides. I know there's been a lot of U.S. teams over the years that haven't been best friends and haven't been that close. And so maybe they're trying to swap that and get the team room a little bit more, fun and engaging and buddies in there and enjoying themselves. But that's clearly the angle that, Captain Johnson was going with all this.
All right. So on the team, let's take the U.S. team. Mm-hmm. Who do you see as having a breakout Ryder Cup? Like, holy shit.
Max Homa. Max Homa.
Really?
Absolutely.
Why?
Technique is incredible. I think he's got a great head on his shoulders. There's just not much that goes wrong with his golf swing. Pretty darn good putter, and he chips it pretty darn good. So it's like, it's hard not to think he's going to play well. I think Cantlay, he gets a lot of knock for being slow and whatnot. Under pressure, the dude's incredible, and has made some great strides. So, Yeah, the team room, I think all of them could play well. Obviously, somebody's going to lose some matches along the way. Sam Burns obviously has had a great couple years in order to get onto this squad, but I would say that Homa is my guy that I think is going to play incredibly well.
All right, so you're team captain, Wardo, and you got to put the teams together. What's your gut telling you? Obviously, we just talked about Spieth and JT because they're lovers. Who else are you putting together?
I think I would put in a 4-ball match. I think I would throw Xander out with like a either a Spieth or a Scheffler. And then I think Homa would pair up nicely with Wyndham. I think Homa would pair up nicely with Morikawa or a Brooks. Morikawa or Brooks is a little bit more of a bomber. I think Spieth can play with anyone, to be honest. From the American side, I think there's going to be some cool and fun pairings in that regard. Again, you could go with the guy that hits a little shorter, Brian Harman, and stack him with a bomber, a Brooks, or a Wyndham. But pretty solid team. I'd say if you look at the lineups in terms of power alone, and obviously power hasn't been the reason why the Europeans have won over the years, but the Europeans probably off the tee got a tiny bit more power, a little more speed. You could argue maybe a couple better athletes. So that's where my head's at.
Yeah, I'm thinking Homa and Ricky Fowler would be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, incredible.
Wouldn't that be a fun, two studs? I just think that's personality-wise. I don't know. How much do you think that chemistry matters when you put the teams together?
I think it's everything, right? All these guys are capable of playing their best golf or their worst golf here in the next couple of weeks. But what I would say is it's chemistry, maybe also in the 4-ball or the foursome matches where it's alt shot. You're usually looking at who plays what golf ball, and similarities there because they've got to play one golf ball the entire day. So if you and I play the tailor-made golf ball, same design, same model, that you could make a case that we should play together. And so I think there's some of that.
You think it's that important?
The golf ball's everything.
Really?
Oh, especially for these guys that know their game around a lot of finesse shots, bunker, chipping, pitching. Even off the driver, I just think the golf ball, nobody doesn't want to play the golf ball they've been playing unless they're tied into an equipment contract that they're not happy with.
All right, so help the average golfer understand what a good golfer feels, the difference between a TaylorMade or a Pro V.
So off the driver, you're going to feel and hear different types of sounds with different golf balls, believe it or not. You're also going to you're going to definitely feel it the most for good players, I think, within 100 yards of the green. So maybe a little nipper over a bunker where you've got to get creative and you need height and spin. Some balls are going to suit guys' techniques better than others. Also, the wedge play, and then I think the putting is, just the golf balls feel different coming off the putter. You could probably blindfold me and let me putt golf balls with different manufacturers, and I could not only hear the sound difference, but feel the sound difference.
So what's your favorite ball?
Feel the difference. Right now, I'm playing the TaylorMade TP5X. It's a great golf ball, very similar to the gold standard of the Pro V1, Pro V1X. But that's what I'm currently playing. And there's obviously some guys that are playing. I think Brooks is still playing the Strixon, but there's a lot of Titleist guys under this, and then a lot of TaylorMade guys as well.
Off the topic here of Ryder Cup a little bit. Should the double-digit handicapper be spending $45 on a TaylorMade or a Pro V?
To make the manufacturers happy, yes, they should. It depends on the type of player, to be honest. Even if they are double-digit, they may have some more speed, or they may be looking for something. So you could maybe make a case for somebody to spend that kind of money on a golf ball, but I think there's a lot of balls that aren't premium golf balls that are kind of fall in the middle that would certainly be more adequate. You can spend half the money or so, and so buy double the amount of golf balls.
Well, even me as a double-digit handicap tends to, every time I walk into the Lock Lloyd Pro Shop, this is funny, now they don't even say a word to me. they just throw out my my TaylorMade balls, and they're waiting for me because they know I'm probably going to pipe 3 out of bounds.
So are they throwing a full sleeve out or just a box?
No, the sleeve, just to see. I get my 3 balls, and then, I'll pipe one in the water and then throw one in. And then the other one's caught in the rough. I'm like, fuck it, and then I'm good. And then I dig in for the old Strick sound that I found in the woods 3 holes back. And so they know that
you're a sucker.
I'm the dream for
Well, you should hang around the stable more, and if you did that, then we'd have more golf balls for you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Now, I think
you'd play better golf, hopefully, and you'd probably get some extra freebies here or there.
Yeah, all right.
A lot of sample kits going out the doors here, boys.
Well, that's what I'm gonna do. All right, let's do this. Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, I want you to help someone who certainly knows a little bit about the Ryder Cup, but they're not all in. Why is this such a special event? And I've got my own opinions. I think what's really cool is seeing the different formats, the singles, and like you said, the alt shots. Like it's what makes a tournament fun is variety to me, and the friendships and the teamwork. And of course, I kept thinking of like Bryson not being on this team, and remember what they were thinking when Bryson was. There's just so much great, cool shit to think of, and of course, we've got a lot because it's fall. Labor Day's behind us. Football season, Ryder Cup. If you're not excited right now, you're just a loser. So come on back. You're in a Golf Underground.
Hey guys, Sully here to tell you about my friends at Regal Distributing. Now, for more than 60 years, Regal Distributing Company has been helping customers grow their business by providing the right food service and professional cleaning supplies to a variety of industries. And man, do they do it right. Because they're smart. Which means they're able to offer expertise and in-depth product knowledge that helps customers like you think about your business in a whole new way. And what's the outcome? Well, they're going to help you improve your efficiency. They're going to reduce your cost. And they're going to help you maintain your quality. And all by providing consistently excellent service. So, to learn more, check out Regal Distributing. National reach with a local touch. Go to their website at getregal.com. That's getregal.com.
Guys, as the male body ages, testosterone levels steadily decline, and your body's become increasingly unable to produce healthy levels of the primary male hormone testosterone. At Regain Functional Medicine, we can help you regain your quality of life with testosterone replacement therapy. TRT improves brain function, sleep cycles, heart health, performance, and overall body composition so you can feel better, function better, move better, and look better. Visit us today at ifeelmuchbetter.com. Regain Functional Medicine with locations in Lawrence and Leawood. Regain is better.
Hey, Brian Sullivan here, and I've got a tip for you. You've got to head to Unforked. It's an amazing restaurant. What I like about these guys is they promise to buy and support seasonal, local ingredients first. And I love the fact that they source from smaller, family, GAP certified, or organic farms, prime-going regions, artisan producers. All I'm getting at is, if you like fresh stuff, Unforked is the place to be. And like they say it, fork or no fork, you can be sure you're getting the highest quality, socially responsible ingredients possible. And not to mention, it's delicious. So whether you're out south or downtown, stop by Unforked for a delicious and healthy meal. Sheridan's Unforked. Honest, clean food.
Cowell Insurance Services is your leading program administrator for workers' compensation. They're dedicated to meeting the unique challenges of the insurance industry and assisting employers in reducing their costs. CIS has provided insurance, claim, and loss control services to various industries, including trucking, construction, retail convenience stores, and healthcare, as well as public entities for over 30 years. They work with both retail agents and industry clients, or a combination of the two. If you're tired of fighting the rising costs of premiums and claims, give Cowell Insurance Services a call. Their dedicated staff is ready to find you the best insurance option at the most competitive price. They can help to define or enhance your safety program in order to move you in the right direction in reducing your claim and premium costs. Contact Cowell Insurance Services today, 816-214-4070.
Hey, Brian Sullivan from the Golf Underground here with a little good news. And that good news is that even double-digit handicappers like me can occasionally make a double eagle. All right, maybe not on a golf course, but even guys like me can score when buying a new car or truck. I'm talking about 2 stores, 2 brothers, and 4 generations, treating customers just like family. I'm talking about our buddies at Bob Sight Ford and Bob Sight Independence Kia. With these guys, you'll always score 2 under, with double the inventory and double the customer satisfaction. That's the Bob Sight Double Eagle. Now, Bobside offers a wide selection of vehicles and promise to make the car buying process as quick and as hassle-free as possible. Now, whether you have poor credit, no credit, or maybe a first-time car buyer, you can trust Bobside Ford. And Bobside Independence Kia will get you into the car or truck you choose with professionalism and attention to your needs. So go visit our buddies at bobsite.com, but only if you're looking for a vehicle that makes you feel like a U.S. Open champion.
Welcome back, Golf Underground. Wardo and Sully. George is not with us today, and would you share with the folks why George, MLB Hall of Fame Brett, is not in the stable?
He best dealed us for. It sounds like MLB Network is going to go ahead and do a program or documentary on George or the life of George or maybe the career of George. There's a lot of things to cover with that dynamic personality, so that's why George is not able to join us. And when it comes down to the technical side of the show and diagnosing who's going to win the Ryder Cup and play well, et cetera, maybe this is a good one for him to sit out.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice I don't have dip cups, falling all over my computer, right? He's like, I go back to some of the videos of our program, and he's like playing with things on the table, and he's looking around, and do you think ADHD helps athletes in some way as it has George?
I would absolutely say yes on that. Absolutely, it helps the certain type of athlete for sure.
All right. Speaking of ADD, I'm the type of guy who likes the Ryder Cup because of the different formats. Right? You got the singles, you got the doubles, you got the alt shot. You got a favorite one you like to watch?
I mean, the singles the last day is just really hard to beat, just because there's so many. There's 12 matches going on. You've got a lot of storylines. Usually the Ryder Cup has not been decided by then or is fairly close. And even if it's not close like it was in 99 when Justin Leonard sank that putt for the Americans to win, I believe that there's just so much that could go on. So you can definitely put yourself behind the 8 ball with the first 2 days, but at the end, I think with all those matches going on, there's just so many storylines. I think he's got a really important role on asking the veterans what and when and who they should play with. I think that's part of it. I think the other part is just keeping the team room very relaxed and enjoying it. So I think those are the biggest roles. Obviously, some pairings and when to send a certain guy out or when to sit a guy. But overall, I would say he's definitely going to play a role. But I think with him being a likable guy and where the team is now and the type of guys that are on their team, he's going to do a great job.
Is he playing more the role of chaperone? Keep the boys, hey, make sure you're showing up at 5. Hey, the spa's open at 4.
These dudes don't know where to show up and when to show up by now, especially for, if it's the 3M Open or whatnot, that's maybe they're going to take that one a little bit more lax. But, I mean, these guys are wanting the red, white, and blue to win, so they're going to be taking it pretty
So
serious.
what would be your locker room speech? What are you saying to them?
I would just probably do what a lot of the old captains have done and play the speech from back in '99 and have at it. But just keeping it fun, telling them that, they're all great players and that have fun out there, boys, and, not worry about the result.
That doesn't work, Wardo. Come on. You got to
go out and have fun.
You got to put a little healthy stress on them, don't you?
When you play your best golf.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about, I'm 3 over through 9 or no?
No.
You're having fun, and sometimes you got off to a bad start and got it back. Sometimes you got off to an incredible start, made a couple of hiccups, then finished well. So there's a lot of different things, but usually when I play my best, I'm having fun, I'm hitting shots, I'm into the current shot, and I'm not worried about score.
Yeah, I agree. We call that high noon for me. High noons. That eases me up. By the way, I have gone back to the Matt Wolf trigger off the tee, and it seems to be working.
I think you should stick with the trigger then.
Yeah, sticking with the trigger. So team golf's a little bit different. Let's go back to when we had our nice interview with Mark Calcavecchia many years ago. Mm-hmm. And he got stressed out over this environment. I'm playing for other people. It's just I can upset myself, but I can't let these guys
country down. My teammates down.
How much? I mean, I honestly, that's got to affect things, because I do think, as we go back to, I think you said 99 when we're high-fiving and pissing off the European team just with our emotion. You see a lot more emotion, high fives, chest bumping. These guys seem to like the team part a lot, but there's stress because you want to diss your boys.
Yeah, I think that, no matter what, there's going to be some emotion out there. There's going to be some letdowns. There's going to be some short missed putts. There's going to be balls that go into the hay. This golf course has got some native all around it and very hillside, beautiful look there. So I think there's going to be some guys that are, especially the rookies, that are peeing down their leg a little bit. But and that might be large part why Justin Thomas got the call up, even though he wasn't in form this year. Obviously Zach Johnson's the Ryder Cup captain for a reason. I thought there was a lot of other guys that were just deserving of that spot.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the Italy, the Marco Simone golf course, right? So question is if you're picked for that team, are you going to throw some red or white the night before? I mean, what do you pick? I mean, can you have a couple cocktails over there, a couple little maybe a little Chardonnay or?
Yeah, maybe that, or do it 2 nights before the first round. Maybe sprinkle it in. Again, these guys all prepare a different way, but keeping some good food in their bodies, an occasional glass of wine or 2 maybe to ease the nerves a little bit, and then just in the team room, there's going to be a ton of ping pong, billiards, you name it, for them to stay relaxed and kind of hang out.
Yeah. So is there a format, if you were on this team, let's take singles out of it, what would be your most fun format?
Probably the 4-ball, because you're a little bit more foot on the gas. You're taking the best score of you and your partner throughout the day or throughout the golf hole. So the 4-ball, you probably are going to have a little less stress and firing at pins, trying to make birdies, all that. So you're going to see a little more fireworks during the 4-ball.
Do you think they coach each other in that format, or they're just letting their player do what they would normally do along with the caddy? Do you think there's any?
I think it's all going to be case by case based off of who each guy is playing with and who the teammates are playing with. But there's going to be some, hey, would you take a look at this putt, or hey, would you hit on that hole when the teams are playing or hitting iron shots off par 3s. So I think there's some strategery there, and definitely some conversing that will go on.
Would you ever let one of your teammates read a putt for you?
Of course. I mean, depends who it is. But I truly think I don't do a ton well, but I feel like I read putts well. And I've got pretty darn good feel for the grain and the slope and all that. But yeah, I mean, I might call a guy in to take a look. But I think that some of these guys are, you see it all the time in golf where you got a partner or a 4-ball match and you got 2 guys that are just grinding over their putt. And no matter what happens, no matter what the read is, it's not going in because they're data brothers over it.
Right. Well, we had Coach Jamie Bermel on last week from the University of Kansas and talked about how college golf is team golf. It's like Ryder Cup. And, he has to convince some of his guys that, hey, this isn't about you, but isn't golf really about you? I mean, that's how you win the team. But it's a different mentality, right? Kind of getting over yourself a little bit and being more interested in other people's success. And it doesn't happen often. I mean, it's here we go. We all meet up in Italy, and now we're boys. And, of course, they're with each other every week anyway, but it's a totally different gig. I wonder how much info they share with each other about their games and what they're working on and what they learned about the course. Do you think there's ever a little bit in their mind like, hey, listen, I got to go play against these boys again here soon? Or do you think they're just like, screw it, man?
I don't think it matters, boys, to be honest, because, there might be a certain guys working on something within their game, and it's not match play. This is the only match play event now that the Dell is gone moving forward. So I don't think there's 156 other guys in the field in a normal tour event week in and week out. And so I don't think it's that big of a deal to, get vulnerable and tell some people what you're working on or what you're struggling with.
Yep. No, that's true. Hey, little off topic. Our good friend Gary Woodland's having some health problems. We're all rooting for him, right? That kind of came out last week. Any update on how he's feeling and how his mindset is? Because no doubt the listeners want to know.
I think obviously he's having some physical effects of the tumor or the lesion, and so Yes, and then obviously it's affecting him. It's affected him mentally to some degree. He's played through several weeks on the PGA Tour knowing about this, so I think that's pretty hard to when you want to be, at home with your family and your kids and your friends, during tough times like that. So kudos to him. We wish him nothing but the best. I think he'll be back. And thanks for medicine and all the things that neurosurgeons do, but he's going to be good.
Yeah, no, that's good. And just for listeners, a lesion that he's dealing with on his brain. So say some prayers out there, and let's see him through it. All right, we're gonna do this. Let's take a real quick break, and I want to talk a little bit because tonight, certainly it's golf season at high schools, right? And you're a big proponent of making greeting young men through the game of golf. Of course, high school football has begun. You're gonna tell us a little bit about this event. And what is that 8th grade kid who now is a freshman in high school? What's he got to be thinking about as he now is on a part of a bigger team and great things individually may be happening to? So come on back. You're on the Golf Underground here in the stable.
Brian Sullivan of Golf Underground with my favorite orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Kevin Whitty from Sano Orthopedics. Hey, Doc, golf season's over. My back is killing me. I know it's football season, so you get a lot of kids coming in, blown ACLs, all sorts of body parts with problems. And then, of course, those baseball players. I know you fix a lot of elbows. Why is Sano Orthopedics the absolute best sports medicine orthopedic group in Kansas City?
Well, if you want to see the guys in town who've had the best orthopedic fellowship training in sports medicine, including training with Dr. James Andrews and Dr. Larry Lemack, come see us. We individualize patients' plans to get them back to that activity and that sport that they love, and we actually care and listen to our patients and follow up with them, make sure that they're getting the results they need.
Okay, and so the 3 things that separate you: number 1, best training; number 2, you specialize in getting people on that field; number 3, you're actually listen. Where can I learn more? Because you got me all in, and I don't really want to get fixed, but it's time.
At SanoOrthopedics.com, 816-525-2840.
Hi, this is George Brett, Hall of Fame baseball player, and I've been playing golf for over 35 years. Hitting the ball far was never my problem, but the closer I got to the greens, that's when my problems began. When I wanted a golf practice area in my backyard, I called Celebrity Greens. They are the industry leader in custom-built synthetic golf greens. These championship caliber, low-maintenance greens roll great, react like real bent grass, and hold chip shots that check and spin. I absolutely love mine, not only in Kansas City, but also in Arizona. Call the pros at Celebrity Greens at 1-888-507-7960 or visit them online at celebritygreens.com. Practice like the pros, or people like me that want to be pros, right in your own backyard.
Hey, Brian Sullivan, Golf Underground, with a little tip for you. If you're looking to buy a new Ford, you have to check out my buddy, Jason Gudenkoff at Lewisburg Ford. They've been saving Midwest Ford buyers thousands of bucks for over 40 years because they do business the right way. They sell everything, check this out, for $50 over invoice. That's simple and cheap. And they win a lot of awards. In fact, they won Ford's President's Award 17 times. That's the top Ford award. And they only give it to dealers with superior customer satisfaction in sales and service. So they know how to take care of customers better than anybody. Now, what these guys know how to do also, keep this in mind, sell trucks. Lewisburg Ford has sold more F-150s than any other Ford dealership in greater Kansas City. That's 2 years running. And last year, they were the #1 F-150 sales leader in the entire state of Kansas. So, no hassle. $50 over invoice pricing, unparalleled customer satisfaction, and a huge selection. That's a perfect recipe for selling trucks. So, check out all their inventory and prices online at lewisburgford.com or give them a call at 816-444-2300.
New golf clubs, a big screen TV to watch the U.S. Open, or maybe even a new golf cart that I've got my eye on.
No matter how you choose to spend the savings, if you're looking to put a dent in your monthly heating and cooling bills, the answer may be right over your head. If your attic isn't insulated properly, you're missing out on a prime opportunity to cut costs. Call the certified energy experts at Star Companies, Inc., 816-353-2160 for a free estimate to learn how they can help you save money. 816-353-2160 or visit starcompanieskc.com.
Hey, welcome back, Golf Underground. We're coming up very soon on Ryder Cup week. Of course, NFL football. We have our man Patrick Mahomes here here behind me. George is not with us today. Hey, Wardo, I got a question to ask. So, out at Loch Lloyd where I live, we've got the new fella. His name's Patrick Mahomes, moved out in the neighborhood. And, he's in the rich section, the filthy rich, new money guys.
The double-digit section?
We're in the kind of the old-fashioned, maybe we're not as uppity / snobby as the new section where he is. But, over on this part where I live, we have this little lake. It's called Lake Loch Lloyd. And, we all have these little beat-up pontoon boats. Mine looks like a homeless shelter. And Patrick can't seem to get a slip there in the lake, because he's number 42 on the list. And I'm thinking of offering up my slip if he buys a big fancy-ass boat, and then we kind of share it. Jake Sullivan, my son, is against the proposition because he likes to kind of trash things. Would you or wouldn't you make the cold call to Mahomes and say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to buy a big-ass boat. Now, you got to buy a big boat. It's got to look nice. But we're pretty much going to trash it, but you have a nice slip. Are you going with the deal or not?
If I'm you, I'm trying to sell the deal to him for sure. And then if Jake wants to trash it or not trash it, but I don't think he's going to probably go for it. I think he's just going to wait out on his own slip.
You think? I don't think it might going to be years, I mean, we don't just let fancy boys come on in and, he's
going to have to wait. He's going to have to wait. But he might be able to afford one, especially if we win another Super Bowl.
It's true. It's true. All right, so you got a big event. Tell us about the event that's coming up here in the golf stable tonight, because you have a lot of young men and boys and girls who come in here trying to learn the game of golf. And tell us about the event, what you hope to accomplish.
Yeah, we like to bring our players together a couple times a year on it with a group basis. I think there's a lot of things that are going on there. One is parents on a day-to-day basis. I'm not communicating as much with the parents as I am the kid, or at least I feel I should be communicating with the kid first and foremost and not the parents. It's his game, it's his life, it's his world. And then from there, there's some camaraderie aspect, or the kids might meet another kid, or they're looking up to the upperclassmen, right? And when a Chance Wrinkle, who's now a senior, ready to go to Iowa, just won on the AJGA once this year, finished third again, and his junior world rankings, gotten way better. I think it's important that those kids get exposed to him in some capacity, some form. So that's kind of what we're trying to do with that, and then provide education. The college, we're going to bring in former assistant coach Chris Wilson tonight from Kansas, and we're going to talk through kind of the nuances and what goes on behind the scenes with the college recruiting landscape. As we all know, NIL's changed a lot of things within that, especially the transfer portal and whatnot, and kids staying an extra year. The COVID thing's kind of run its course, but I watched a football game last night with guys that were 6th and 7th year for Duke. So that's kind of what we're doing, and then giving them some kind of tips and tricks of things to be preparing. Now that we're heading into fall, things are slowing down a little bit for tournament schedules, and helping the younger kid, the 8th grader, get as prepared as he can be for high school golf. He's now competing against kids that are 4 years older, where it used to be they're competing within a 1 to 2 year age gap. So I think that's a massive adjustment. I think the other adjustment is now you're playing against kids that hit it 10, 20 to 50 yards past you. So it's just harder to compete. So we're preaching short game putting and kind of the process. And then as these young men and women, they're coming into their bodies and getting stronger, I think the physical side's important, and also giving them the tools to play golf injury-free. So that'll kind of be what we'll focus on tonight, and just a little more educational and kind of a added perk because I don't know all the answers on the recruiting side, and it's changed since I was in school, but we feel like our staff's been through quite a bit with recruiting and the transition from high school to college to pro. So that's kind of what we'll share.
What would you like the parents of kids who they're going to be here, right? My kid's in 8th grade. He loves the game of golf. He really wants to excel in high school. What's my role as mom and dad? What do you want to tell those people that maybe you can't publicly say either in front of their kids or each other, but they should know it?
I think first and foremost is just to support them in whatever they want to choose, whether golf's part of their long-term future or not. And then I would just say let them drive the process. I think it's important for tournament scheduling that the kids are doing their own scheduling, not mom and dad. Oh, they missed my entry fee, or we didn't get signed up in time. I think the more that they drive the process on that end, then the kid is developing off the course, because whether they play an amateur events during the summer, or maybe they get to the next level and play at college, or maybe they get to the professional ranks, and you're not going to have an agent for you right out of the gate. And there's a couple anomalies on that, but it's just part of growing up, in my opinion. So let the kid own it and drive the process, and be there to support them in whatever way. I also think on the instructional or the technical side, there's a lot of misinformation that a parent can or could give their kid that sets them back versus propel them forward. And then the last thing I think is there might be a parent that really knows what they're talking about, and they're dialed in on what Tommy should be working on. But Tommy's going to receive, I could say the sky is blue, and the parent could say the sky is blue. Tommy may receive it a little different.
Yep.
So that's really what it's all about on the junior golf and the parent side. But it's been a blast to watch these kids grow up and get better. And, I don't think there's too many people in the business world that wish they would have started playing golf later or getting exposed to our great game later. Some of the relationships you meet and the people you meet are just incredible.
It's true. Yeah. And that's why I wish we had more caddy programs too. Mm-hmm. Here, even here in Kansas City, we really don't have a lot of caddy programs. And that was one of the greatest gifts I think my friends and I got from the game. Listen, when you got 4 rich guys and you got a bag on each shoulder, and you're spending 4.5 hours out there, and you're hearing the conversations, it's just kids being exposed to the game. I say this in business when I do my speeches. I said, listen, your income is generally an average of the 5 people who you spend most of your time with. Well, you imagine, whether you're playing the game of golf or you're just around the game of golf, if you're surrounded by successful people, and not only success financially, but the rules of the game, doing the right thing, when no one's watching, you got to put the right score down. You're not fluffing balls up. You're raking traps. You're fixing your dip. There's a discipline, I think, that the game that it certainly gives these kids. And I think it's cool that you get a chance to not only teach that, but then really get into the nuances of what makes a good swing. It's just a nice package,
100%. No, I think that it's the best game, and it's a very time consuming, and it's not cheap, but I think the relationships and long-term people you meet along the way, regardless of what level of golf you're at or you're headed to be, it's the best.
Yep. Amen to that. All right. Closing comment here. Who's gonna win the Ryder Cup 2023, Wardo?
I mean, I got to go with the United States. Hard to bet not to root for the Americans in this one. Got some great players. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be really come down to some of the last matches. The talent level on both sides is quite high. A lot of guys are playing incredible right now. Hovland's going to be tough to beat, right? I mean, that guy's just on an absolute heater. It's been really fun to watch and impressive on how well he's striking it, putting it, and doing everything well. So,
and he's just a funny dude, right? He's just smiles all the time. And, I don't know if certainly he's been getting a lot of airtime. It's so funny when he's got that big smile on his face and they ask, hey, what's your favorite music? He's like, yeah, I like death metal.
Amazing.
He plays death metal. Like, when you're up hitting golf balls with your ear pods in, you wonder what people listen to. He's like, and he does, he'll imitate. It's like that shit. Yeah. That's what he likes. That's Victor Hovland. I'm a huge fan. Listen, I know he's Norwegian, right? Freaking guy talks like an American. Let's be honest.
Well, he's been in the States for probably about a decade now.
Come on. Rory, come on. You're a Floridian right now. Let's go. Let's go down. John Rahm, Arizona State, Forkham. Yeah, what is it? This is like a damn American team where it's not even a Ryder Cup. It's like a college event right here.
It is.
I mean, you come milking off our orange juice and beaches and all that shit, and then you become a Ryder Cup Euro trash? Hell no. So my pick is for the Europeans.
I like it.
No, I'm kidding. I can't do that. So, all right, Wardo. So, good show, buddy. Let's ease in. Football game Thursday night. Go Chiefs.
Let's go.
Go Patrick Mahomes. I'll see you on the boat. We'll clean up those White Claws. And hey, Labor Day's behind us. It's Q3, Q4 in business time. time to kick ass. If you're in sales, make more calls than everybody else. Put a show on. If you're golf, practice more than everybody else. Because the goal is to become a top performer. You become a top performer by listening to Golf Underground here in the stable. See you next time.